Welcome to a run-through tutorial on how I use this resource with my students. I'll share any tips and tricks that work for me, but of course, do feel free to modify as you see fit for your students. This is a competitive game between two players or teams, and the primary target is the spatial concepts. But the game does lend itself pretty well for other goals like using complete sentences or listening to others, making a team decision, or just being part of a competition, or even using it for articulation carryover. So it's quite versatile. Okay. This is a Snowball Fight edition. There are 3 other versions. One's Halloween, one for Christmas, which are for the holidays, and one birthday edition, which is great any time of the year when there is a birthday, and this winter non-holiday Snowball Fight version. Okay. At the bottom, if you're ready to play, this button will take you directly to the game board. If you'd like written instruction, the button is down here, like so, but this tutorial will cover all of this, so we'll zoom right through it. And this is the game board. So children are playing Snowball Fight, and the first thing you're going to do here is to place all these snowballs across the scene. This is a first opportunity for you to use or model the spatial concepts with your students, and you can place these balls anywhere there's a golden snowflake. So you can put one between the 2 children in the back. You can place one between the 2 children in the front. Put one above the orange house and in front of the blue house. You can put one behind the squiggly tree or behind the straight tree. So it can get detailed. So make sure you model it here. If your students are versed in using the spatial concepts, you can have them tell you where to place them. So we can put one in the cloud. There's one spot in the corner. You can put one on the boy's hand, the boy in the front, or in the hand of the boy who's in the back. Again, it can get quite detailed. This can go in front of the girl, and this can go under the jumping boy, things like that. And as you see, there are more snowflake spots than the snowballs, so don't worry about filling all the spots. And if you are not sure, if you want to make sure that you're not missing any possible spots, back to the instruction, this button will go to a cheat sheet that shows you all the hot spots, so to speak. Okay? And this one takes you back to the instruction and back to the game board. Okay? When all the balls are placed, you're going to remove this tab completely to reveal the scoreboard. Okay? And in this game, students will split into 2 teams, and then they'll choose one of the snowballs and crack them open to see what's inside. And depending on what they get different points. Okay? So to set it up, this is a great place for team decisions if they're working on pragmatic skills. So they can come up with team names. Let's say one decides on Team Snowy and Team Icy. Both teams starts with 0 points. And another possibility of team decision is deciding how many points each of these items that they find in the snowball are worth. But the teacher can decide it if the time's an issue. So I usually, let's say 20 points for cupcake, 10 points for the gingerbread man, and 0 point for the ugly sweater. I usually like to keep it between 0 and 20 for ease of calculation. Okay? So now the game is ready to start. So the first player will choose a snowball and encourage them to use complete sentences here. So they may say something like, I want the snowball between the children in the back. And they pick this one, so you're going to go to the snowball page. They're going to crack, and open. It's a type of a cupcake, okay? So that team's going to get 20 points. Hooray! So this ball that they just used, after choosing one, you're going to slap it into the snowman so that they don't pick the same one twice. Okay? And then the next team goes. So let's say the next team decided to we want the snowball and the cloud. Now this, very optional. You can have the other team, whoever's not choosing, listen to the first player and then mark whichever one that player asked for. So this is more for comprehension. In person, you may not need it, but online and teletherapy, this might be a choice. Okay. So one thing to mention here is that when they pick a snowball, if you want to go to the snowball page, don't click on the snowball. This does nothing for you. But the hotspots are actually around the snowball. So just look for that black square on the PC, and this will jump right to the snowball page. So crack, crack, and crack it open. Oops, it's a type of a sweater. Go back. Sorry, sweater is a 0 point. Okay. And this one goes into the snow. Oops, it goes into the snowman. So this black spot is only visible on the computer. I believe it's not going to show up on a tablet. So if you do play this on a tablet, and make sure you're going to tap around the snowball. And if it doesn't activate, just discreetly move the snowball over a little bit and then try to tap around it again, and that should work. Okay. Another thing to mention about this particular game board is there are 2 lucky spots. So one is underneath the jumping boy. If you crack it open, it's a sweater with a cupcake. So they get the combined points, which is 0 plus 20. So the next team gets 20 points. The other one is behind this squiggly tree. Crack it open, and it's a cupcake with a gingerbread man. So yay, they're going to get 20 plus 10, which is 30. So they're going to get a total of 30 points, which adds up to 50 points. And the game continues until all the snowballs are gone. And that is it. As always, use it as creatively as you like. And I hope that you and your students enjoy this game and get tons of spatial concept practice out of it. Have fun!